Hey guys, so I just wanted to do a quick video after returning from my trip to Texas. It was a really nice trip. I enjoyed getting away for a while. As most of you know, I went out there to go see my mom, my brother, and his girlfriend Jody. And it was very good seeing them. It had been so long since I had seen my mom, so it was way overdue for the trip. As most of you know, I was concerned about my mom's health and the direction that it was going in. But while I was out there, I got my mom into the doctor, and hopefully we've got some stuff set in motion now where we'll be making progress in the right direction. But the trip went very well. It was really good seeing my mom, and overall it was a good experience. One of the things that I had contemplated about before I even went out there was what my method of transportation was going to be. I wasn't sure if I wanted to take a bus out there or if I wanted to fly, but consequently I ended up driving, and I'm so glad that I did because I got to see and experience things that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. But it's amazing to me that every area just differs so much. Everything from the people to the cost of living to the terrain even. I mean, everything as you're driving through Arizona and New Mexico and even parts of Texas, it's really flat and it's hot as hell. I mean, that is an understatement. Whereas here in Northern California, we have beaches and the beautiful redwoods that are all around us. And, it's an eye-opening experience in that it really, teaches you to appreciate the area that you live in because you start to take it for granted, very easily. So that was very interesting. But the trip went very well overall. I did have a few things that were kind of frustrating along the way. Consequently, I did end up breaking down once with my car. I had to pull over on the interstate. It started overheating. And so I pulled back onto the interstate, and then it started overheating again, and it was kind of a mess. But so I ended up calling for roadside service, and they towed my car up to the next town, and it ended up being my cooling fan. So nothing major, luckily. But while I was pulled over, there were a number of people that had stopped and checked to make sure I was okay. That was really cool. But about 15 to 20 minutes before the tow truck got there, one of the state troopers had pulled over, and he also checked on me and made sure I was okay and whatnot. And I explained to him that my car was overheating, and I told him that I was more concerned about Comet. Comet went with me on the trip, and it was 102 degrees outside. It was just blazing hot. And so I told the patrol officer that I was a little bit more concerned about the dog because he was panting so much. So the patrol officer was really cool, and he offered to let Comet stay in the patrol car until the tow truck got there. So that was really cool. Really nice officer. I guess another frustrating aspect of the trip was probably the traffic driving through LA. It was just bumper to bumper traffic, and I guess it's like that every day down there. I don't know how those people do it. I really don't. It would be frustrating as hell to me to have that as part of my daily commute, but I guess just as that being part of your normal routine, I guess people just get used to it. But man, that's definitely not for me. But overall, the trip went really well. I had never taken a long road trip like this before, so I wasn't sure what to expect. I was a little nervous in that sense because I wasn't sure if I would break down somewhere in the middle of nowhere or what have you. But it went really smooth. One of the things that I found also very interesting was that as you're passing through the east side of El Paso, you're stopped at a border patrol checkpoint, and they just simply ask you if you're a U.S. citizen and then let you go on your way. They don't ask you to verify your identity or anything. So I mean, as far as they know, you could have some illegal immigrants in your trunk, or you could be one yourself, because they don't verify that you're a U.S. citizen. So I guess my thought is on that is it just seems like that might be the reason why we have so many undocumented citizens in the in the U.S. But I don't know. That's just one of the things I thought was really interesting. as I was driving on I-10 going back towards California, you're stopped going into the state and they just simply ask you if you have any fresh fruit or flowers. Again, they don't check your vehicle or look in your trunk to see if you have any. They just take your word for it. So, I don't know, just these various checkpoints seem kind of inane. But another thing that was interesting that happened along the way, I had already been back into California at this point. I was in the middle of the desert. I mean, it was in the middle of nowhere. Another thing that had happened along the trip was I was already back in California at this point, but I was driving on I-10 and I had noticed that there was this lady on the side of the road. She was face down and I wasn't sure if something was wrong with her or what, but I had pulled over, I turned my emergency flashers on, I got out just to check and make sure she's okay. Her car was on the side of the road. She was probably at least 200 or 300 feet away from her car, and she's just laying on the side of the road face down. So as I approached her, I just, said, "Ma'am, are you okay?" And she didn't respond. I tapped her on the shoulder, and she just still didn't respond. So I immediately dialed 911, and it took 45 minutes for the CHP to get out there along with the ambulance, because you're in the middle of nowhere here. So it would be a really bad time to break down or whatnot. The CHP got out there and they, saw her and they ended up taking her, I guess, away or whatnot, but I don't know what was wrong with her. But anyway, it was a really good trip overall. I'm so glad that I drove. I got to see and experience a lot of different things. The main focal point of the trip was definitely my mom. I wanted to see her. Me and Comet did a little bit of rock climbing. We hit up a beach in Southern California. Didn't get to see a lot of things that I wish I could have, but we'll be taking another trip this fall, and I'm looking forward to that. The focal point of that trip will be spreading my grandma's ashes in the Grand Canyon, as her wishes were. So I'm looking forward to that, and then hopefully seeing my mom again as well. So with that, I hope everyone's doing well. I just wanted to do a quick video after returning from my trip to Texas. I'm going to leave you now with some pictures and other video that I took along the way. I'll see you guys again soon. Peace. Hey guys, look what I found. It's Super Mario ice cream. It's just regular ice cream, so it's kind of a rip-off, but it really doesn't matter when it's 95 degrees outside. There's some gnarly cockroaches right there. Yeah, it's crazy. Me and Comet are in Huntington Beach, California, and we're gonna go check out the dog beach. I guess it's a well-known place where people take their dogs to the beach and run around and play in the ocean a little bit, so we'll see how it goes. We're in standstill traffic. I don't know how these people do it every day.